here. What's up, everybody? It's your favorite one. Spider's looking one way, the other spider's looking the other way, and Spider-Gwen's like, what do you want from me? Favorite nerd? I wonder if you get that reference.
That's right. I have it.
And today we are looking at the Revoltech Spider-Gwen. This is on loan to me from Mr. Pinkerton himself, copyright owner of the Pinkerton Approach, and owner of Crashbox Customs, which you can buy a lot of figures from, as well as your dioramas. In addition to that, he's part of a little show called Into the Realm, from the Realm of Collectors, which is on the Cool Table Network, and feel free to give them a look up on the YouTubes or the Podbeans or whatever you may use for your audio podcast platforms. That being said, we're going to look at this young gal, but we have a lot of accessories to go through, so let's not dilly-dally much longer. So she comes with a number of hands, of course. She comes with 2 fist hands. She comes with the 2 hands that she already has on, which are like the what do you want from me hands. She comes with 2 web shooting hands with little ports in the palms of each. She comes with 1 holding hand on the right hand side, 1 pointing hand on the right hand side, and 1 relaxed hand / posing hand / web holding hand on the left hand side. She comes with 2 alternate faces, one the super surprised look and one the super serious look, all detailed the same, and we'll get to them when we get to the figure. In order to do this, I advise taking the head off so that you can get underneath the face here to pull directly off, and then you can add the other face on, and then you can insert that back on the ball peg. And that's just the easiest way that I've found to do it. And I say that not having done it right, but there you go. Otherwise, it's just hard to get around this hood to pull the face out. And she also comes with her human face. Now, I've heard some sketchy things about how this looks, so we're going to take a look. The face is a weird sculpt, and it's to fit the format that's on there already, I'm guessing. The paint is nicely done. The eyes are painted, the lips are painted, or shaded rather. The eyebrows are painted on, the hair is painted, and then this black band is painted on her hair. We're going to see how that looks. And yeah, it looks pretty absurd because it makes it look like her neck is huge. So that's kind of a wash. Like, the face is too small. The whole sculpt should have been bigger, but it probably couldn't fit around the hood was the issue. So that's unfortunate. That's pretty much a wash. It looks ridiculous. She comes with a cell phone, and even the cell phone has like a little picture there of her father's voicemail popping up, the red delete button, I guess, and then the other one looks like an iPhone. And on this hand, which is the web supporting hand or the posing hand or the relaxed hand, you can kind of angle this a certain way so that it just sort of sits in there. I'm not able to get it to really hold any firmer, so to speak. But, you know, you get her posed and then you sit this in there and you should be all right. I'll see if I can't get a picture at some point to make it happen. She comes with a web shot, so to speak. It's done the same way as Spider-Man's, I believe, and then it just plugs into the base of her palm and gives the illusion of her shooting some webs, which is cool. And I'll include a picture of this at some point, or we'll show it at some point. And then she comes with 2 web sections, both of which can plug into her holding her fist hand, and a little port there at the top. And then you can use this in the same manner that we did with Spider-Man, which usually looks pretty cool. She also has this piece, which is magnetized in the back, and then has a ball peg, which is supposed to be able to plug into her back, but I can't get it. I guess that's it. It's very tight. It's not tolerance very well. I can show you real quick that it works, if you give me a second, by coming over here. And she's holding on just fine, but it's not the best connection. Lastly, she comes with the Revoltech stand. It swivels at the bottom, 1, 2, 3 hinges, and swivels at the top, and then has these 2 clips that you just had to hold with tension around her. And that just popped out, but it shouldn't cause you an issue. We'll pull this out for a second. This tabs into the back of the figure, and you can put this extension on and use this one as well for a taller angle and what have you. I'm not sure if it serves any other purpose, but you know, more options. Phew, all right, let's look at the figure. About time, right? Let's put her hand back on. All right, so the head, let's see if we can't take this off. Well, we can start showing some of this. These figures are so articulated that it's hard to show you all the points of articulation, but I think we can do it better if we just take a little bit of it apart. So we have a ball hinge, it's the Revoltech ball hinge, into the chest. So you get up and down to here, and then a swivel at both ends, which comes out to the neck. That's a socket for the ball peg. And then this neck has a double ball peg going into the neck and then going into the head. The head itself hinges around the hood. And I guess that's glued on. It's pegged in. They're pegged in on both sides. So you should be able to take the hood off if you'd like. So that's how it's done. Articulation wise, you can get all the way down to there, all the way up to there, and then pretty much everywhere in between. You have to be careful with a number of things. One of those things being how long the neck can look as you're posing the figure. The second thing being the connection of the hood to this back hood piece on the neck. It often looks like it is not one piece. You know, that's the perfect kind of placement for it. But when you start getting, that looks good. That not so much. And when you get it to the side, you start to lose a little bit of that. So that's a little bit of an issue, not the biggest thing in the world. This line of figures from Revoltech is not really meant to look seamless. It's meant to be posable and fun. And I get that now. I think the Deadpool kind of threw me for a loop, but I have a much better understanding. All right, so another Revoltech joint, it feels like on the inside here. Crunch-wise, you get down to there and back to there, and then you get a swivel at both ends. Paint-wise, for the head, chest, and torso, you have this pink with this blue turquoise done for the webbing. That's done really well. You have a digital paint for the eyes. That's like a pink glow around the eye, and then the eye is painted on top of that, it looks like. Some pink added to the neck there, and then the rest is just the white. Moving down, it's almost like a metallic black that's used for this black. It looks really good in person. It has a nice shine to it. And then we have the pink with the same webbing details done. The webbing is done fairly clean throughout, but it does get out of the lines here and there. But I don't think it's enough to bother anyone in person or posed on a shelf. For the waist, it's the same sort of Revoltech joint. I don't know if you can, or it might just be a massive ball peg. Yeah, it's just a massive ball peg, and that ball peg comes down in a Y to two other ball pegs for the hips. So that's all there is there. But it does work fairly well. I will say it is a little loose, but these figures, once you get them posed, should be fine. Articulation-wise, you get down to there, so that's nice, up to there, and then the swivel and the side to side. So nothing's going to stand in your way. And a little floor polish or something on that ball peg, I would suggest to Pinkerton to kind of tighten her up a taste, so to speak. Moving on. Sorry, I got sidetracked talking about it. Let's talk about the arms. So we have a Revoltech joint planted inside of the chest. So that hinges here, coming out to a ball peg where the arm is attached to. So keeping it clean, you get up to there. Getting ridiculous, you can get all the way around to there. And then, of course, you get the swivel at the outer ball peg, and then you get the hinge. And I don't think this, yeah, it looks like it might turn. It does. So the Revoltech joint turns also in the chest, so you should be able to angle it in any direction you like. And then you get a bit of a swivel around that ball peg there. Revoltech ball hinge in the elbow, plugging into the forearm and then into the bicep, getting you up to there, and a swivel at both ends, I think, yes. And then for the wrist, Revoltech ball hinge going into the forearm and into the hand, so you can rotate at both ends to get you in, out, and up, down. No problems. Detailings wise, what is nice is this ball hinge, they did half in a more purple and then the other half in a white, so that was a nice touch. And then we have the same web detailings on the arm. Once again, a little inconsistent, but not the worst thing in the world. Same for the other side. For the legs, it gets a little wonkier, but let's talk about the little bit of detailings on the pelvis, which is mainly just this white paint. Otherwise, she has a hippie unit, but otherwise, moving down the figure, we have that Y ball peg coming out of here. Then, I'm guessing, I'm not exactly sure what the connection is here. I'm guessing that it plugs into this piece, and this piece sits inside of this, which is just like a cover for the joint, but it also swivels here. I'm guessing that's at that ball peg. So outward motion, you get the whole Van Damme, no issue. Forward motion, you get front-wise the full Monty, not so much on the back. And then, of course, you get a thigh swivel both at this upper joint and at the lower joint. But you do lose some consistency in the sculpt when you do so. Moving down to the knee, single ball hinge going into the thigh and into the lower leg. Ratcheted Revoltech joint, getting you the full 180 pretty much. You also get a shin swivel there, and you can swivel above at the knee. For the ankles, it's a Revoltech ball hinge going into the shin and into the foot. So you get an ankle tilt up to there and down to there. And then in order to get the rocker, you spin the ball hinge and then spin the foot. This is a little tight here. Spin the foot back, and then you can get an extreme rocker. So no issues there. And then you just have to sort it back out. That's kind of how Play Arts used to do their ankles. For the foot, you just get the swivel at the joint there, and then you get a toe hinge, which looks pretty good, in the turquoise paint at the bottom of the foot. And that is essentially this figure in a nutshell. As we continue to talk about her for final thoughts, I'll try to put her in some poses that should hopefully display a little bit of the playability and kind of fun factor. There she is taking a selfie with Black Widow, and for a size comparison, I think she'll fit in fine with your Marvel Legends, even though she's a bit stylized. I think size-wise, she'll be just fine. Final thoughts-wise, let's talk about the negatives. It mainly comes down to joint tolerances. Well, not to be fair, not just joint tolerances, but kind of tolerances across the board. There's tolerance issues at the joints, like for instance, the hip joint or the ball peg going from the pelvis into the abdomen is a bit too loose, and some of them are a bit tight and work weird. But also, like the peg that pegs into the figure from the stand is a little too tight. The peg that goes from the webbing into the hands is a little too tight, both on the shooting ones and the holding ones. So there's just some weird tolerances all around. And then, of course, the other thing that's an obvious flaw is this face. It's just a complete waste. They should have completely rethought it and, I don't know, just started from scratch on that thing. Is continuing on with joint tolerances, the other thing that I find frustrating is getting this phone to stay in the hand. And it's not that it's completely impossible. I mean, you can kind of freak it, but like I've got it in there now on this hand, but it's not the best. You know, I think like almost if the pinky and the forefinger were wrapped around a bit more, where you could keep a bit more tension on the phone, it would have been best for all. But there is a lot of playability with this figure, and I think if you touch up some of those joints with a little bit of floor polish, you should be fine. Like the price point, I feel like is in line with what you're getting. It is a lot of fun. There's a lot of poses and stuff. Like I find myself with these Revoltech figures continuing to pose. I'm not being able to put them down. And I know Revoltech isn't really considered to be like a, I don't know, like a premium line. You know, it's like the real Japanese toy line, quote unquote. And like, but I have to say, like, I have an awful lot of fun reviewing these figures, posing these figures, taking pictures of these figures. So I still recommend her. Just know that they still haven't topped the Spider-Man in my opinion, but they continue to be good. So yeah, thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Until next time, take care.